Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the Daily Trade the Chain Crypto Update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Wednesday, January 10th. This is the expected Bitcoin ETF approval date. We obviously got that interesting bouts of fake news, I guess, from the SEC account. It was allegedly compromised. I saw some rumors saying that it possibly could have been a scheduled tweet that was released early. But either way, it looks like, we got a glimpse into what the future may hold. Obviously, nothing is approved yet, but Fidelity seems to have listed limit orders for certain ETFs and does seem to be heading in the right track. I would guesstimate that approval would likely be towards the end of the day, likely between 4 to 5 p.m. I've also seen reports of possibly 6 to 8 p.m. But either way, I would say towards the end of the day today is my guess for approval, or at the very least an announcement. So let's go ahead and dive in. Total crypto market cap obviously up from yesterday. Average daily sentiment much more bullish across altcoins. Bitcoin sentiment still bullish, although Bitcoin slightly down. ETH up 6%. We did talk about that ETH getting a boost from Bitcoin ETF approval. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But looks like that's already kind of coalescing. Tweets are exploding. ETH daily sentiment picking up, nearing Bitcoin daily sentiment. And of course, trading volume looks fantastic, inching towards 100 billion. A lot you're going to see. My guesstimate is you're going to see a lot of ETH-based coins really taking off. LDO definitely a core one. ETH L2s I would expect to see up there as well, like Matic, OP, ARB. Those should do well, and LDO is staking for ETH, so I think a lot of staking assets will do well too. Stablecoin exchange flows looks mostly like inflows, definitely seeing some outflows, but mostly in. So all good news across the board from the TTC dashboard right now. Looking at Bitcoin sentiment, still moving up. I had a little bit of a buyback as we speak today. Tweet volume's up, trading volume is up. So again, we did talk about this yesterday. Still expecting Bitcoin to inch higher post approval. Maybe it dips, immediately afterwards, or just has some massive Darth Maul type daily candle. But still expecting Bitcoin to move higher. Just probably expecting ETH to move more significantly and outperform Bitcoin, kind of in this next stage of the crypto market. Now, interestingly enough, tweet volume is down, but Bitcoin volume's up. So, a lot of Bitcoin ETF tweets, have to remember that. But trading volume has exploded for ETH, up 100%. Definitely a good signal. If you've ever used the TTC dashboard, or maybe you're new to it, a lot of times I will sort by trading volume to look for outperforming coins. And typically when you sort by trading volume, you will see a lot of green on the dashboard, usually in the last 24 hours, but a lot of times in the last 7 days as well. Some of the best performers on the TTC dashboard have increased trading volume. ENS is another one on that ETH beta list. ETC, I guess, not a bad look as well. ENS is killing it over the past week, though, up 30%. So, and then we've got ETH up here. ETH is top 11 for trading volume as well. So definitely good news on that side of things for that narrative. And we'll discuss a little bit more about that narrative later on in the show. So DXY, not much has changed. Still kind of looking for a dip down lower. But if we do break above that kind of 102.7, 102.6 area, we'll probably end up moving higher. But again, we talk about this all week. CPI tomorrow, core is expected to drop. CPI is expected to rise. Definitely want to see these come in as expected. Lower than expected would be even better. But as expected, I would guess mostly neutral, likely up, because core CPI will be decreasing. So we definitely tomorrow, that's going to happen tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. So you definitely want to see this drop after that announcement. And if that does drop, should help equities. Remember, we talked about market structure pretty much, we've been talking about market structure for a while. But if we just kind of think about things again, and I've talked about this yesterday, but equal lows. We've got this lower low, right? And then we've got these set of, higher highs, right? So market structure potentially has shifted with this new low. It is a deviation, which is good. We are now above mid-range, which is even better. But again, we do not want to see a lower high form. So it's good that we're continually inching higher. We 100% want to see 47.95 tagged next or broken. Broken would be even better because then that's a new high, which would hopefully, keep bullish market structure intact, or at minimum, we have a range low deviation and then a range high deviation. And then we just sit in this range, which would not be bad at all, considering the trajectory of equities over the past couple of months. So, we were down here in October. Now we're all the way up near local or near highs, all-time highs again. Remember, this is all-time high up here at about 4,800. So we definitely want to see a higher high or an equal high at the very minimum, not a lower high. So right now everything does look good. But still need to, that's something you need to monitor if you are bullish, is we would like a higher high in the best case scenario. And if we start to falter and break back below mid-range, if we break back below this level, especially this level, that's when things are going to get really hairy, and we would start to probably look down here if these lows are broken. So still bullish, but tomorrow's CPI print definitely going to be very impactful for equities, in my opinion. Looking at Bitcoin, so, we did end up tagging that 48K level on the fake announcement, and then we dropped right back down to 44.7. So our lines in the sand are very good in terms of giving us, giving us the ability to trade these levels well. So, just good to know that, our highs and our lows are intact. We did have some tweezers overnight and early this morning, I should say, not overnight. That obviously lifted us higher. We're now above the weekly VWAP, so very good for lower time frame trading. We're also above yesterday's high, yesterday's close. Yesterday's close and weekly VWAP now acting as support. Hopefully that continues. Would like to see Bitcoin kind of continue higher into possible ETF news today. Obviously, we did get this. We told TTC community hold 44.6, 44.7. Going to move up to 46. Obviously, above 46, you're going to talk about 48 again. So pretty on the ball there for TTC. We drop below 44.6, 44.7, going to tag 43.8. Drop below 43.8, going to tag 42.7. Drop below 42.7, going to tag 40.5. Below 40.5, better hope 39.6 or 4K holds at the very least for continuous bullish market structure, because, and I talked about this yesterday, but look how beautiful this market structure is, right? Just nothing but lower lows, higher highs, and we just keep moving and trucking. So definitely want to continue to see that happen. Again, I was a little wrong in terms, and I don't know if I'm fully wrong, because we did get a glimpse into what may happen around the announcement. Obviously, we did get a spike higher, then we did get a drop lower, then we did come right back to where price was, about 24 hours, less than 24 hours later, right? So general thesis was correct. Up, down, back to normal price, right? I was just, I was talking about 10, 20% moves. We still could get those because it obviously was not the official announcement. So I'm not counting out my, wide variance of potential volatility, but, maybe we don't, maybe we don't jump to 53, maybe it's just 50. Something like that, but still expecting something like this, at the end of the day, whether how high or how low it goes, it's a big possibility. But again, above 48K, your next natural targets are 52.2 and 53. And then we obviously still have that. I'm just going to draw a line at 50K because, the market loves round numbers. So just going to kind of stick one here. And that's honestly mid-range between that 48 and that 52 level as well. So, not the worst number to have in the books. So I'm expecting either something like this, very similar to yesterday, or something a little bit more explosive with the same typical formation. So not much has changed other than the fact that we just may not get as much volatility as I expected. Now, let's start with ETH BTC because something interesting did happen, and I talked about this, many, many times. is look what happened. What did I say I was going to, be very interested in long ETH? Well, we dropped down pretty hard, spiked. We swept this wick or swept this low from December 20th. Obviously, we did make a new low, so we're not out of the woods yet. But I did say if we swept below and then got back above at least 49 cents, even 51 cents being even better, or not 49, 049. Now we're back above 051. Definitely a good opportunity in my book. Now, and we've got a lot of buy volume coming in here as well, which we have not seen in a very long time. Obviously, that doesn't immediately signal that good things will happen. A lot of buy volume down here didn't matter too much, but at the end of the day, the thesis has always been, because ETH and ETH spot ETF has been the kind of the next type of narrative, and if the Bitcoin spot ETF gets approved, it likely opens the door for an ETH spot ETF, right? So if Bitcoin spot ETF news is done, what's the next news for the market to focus on? Probably ETH spot ETF. And if that's the case, ETH should move very similarly to Bitcoin and Bitcoin high beta assets. Doesn't mean the rest of the market will move as well. I'm definitely expecting that, but Bitcoin or ETH should outperform Bitcoin following the spot ETF, the spot Bitcoin ETF announcement. How long that happens could be instant. We obviously saw great indication from yesterday about how good that could be. As you can see, from that fake announcement, ETH is still up, did not even claw back. ETH is up 8% from the fake announcement. So if we think about that, then, I do think that anywhere around 051 or between 051 and 049, great buys for ETH in terms of ETH BTC. But, if we just kind of look at ETH, and I'm going to zoom out first, it has a lot more room to roam when you think about it. Because let's look at the Bitcoin chart in terms of, I'll move to the 12-hour. Let's look at how much room Bitcoin has above it. Bitcoin only has it's only about 48% to all-time high, right? And ETH is, from current price right around here, is around 100% to all-time high. So ETH definitely looking like the better trade if you're thinking that all-time highs are going to be somewhere around the corner. Obviously the market is reacting very similarly to what I talked about yesterday with ETH getting the boost following the ETF announcement. So in my opinion, if you get above 24.43, your next natural target is going to be 26.50. And then from there, I don't think I have any lines yet, but let's go ahead and actually draw some right now. The 4 hour, I hope the 4 hour sticks. My time frames have been really weird. Maybe it'll stick on. I don't think they're going to stick on the 12 hour, but let's go ahead and draw them. So above 24, above whatever that local high is, around late December, next natural target's 26.47, which is the low from September of 21. Then I would start talking about from there 35.95, and then this is getting a little out of hand because it's still very early, but then I would start talking about around 4K. So around that 3,500, 3,600 number is where I would expect us to go if we can break above 26.50, and above current local high, I'm expecting 26.50 next. So let's see if these. Let's see if those stuck. Okay, they did stick. Nice. Okay. So we'll obviously, hopefully, get to reference those prices in the future. But again, ETH trading, very simple. Above local highs, you should probably start to 45-degree angle up to that 26.50 number. If we get rejected from current price, likely to drop back to the 23.56 level, and then below the low from yesterday, if we get below that, which is 23.40. Below 23.40, we'll get to 23.05. Below 23.05, we'll get to 22.50. Below 22.50, get to 22.25. Below 22.25, down to 21.55. So a lot of levels to hold lower, and a lot of fresh air higher. And I think that is usually kind of a good risk reward for that type of stuff. So I'm definitely in ETH and ETH high beta assets. I mentioned ARB, Matic, OP. Some others are, like I said, LDO. Aave, FXS, SNX. So there's several. So I'll post those for the TTC community, also ENS as well. I'll post those to the TTC community. So there's a list coming. But obviously, if you're not in the TTC community, highly recommend joining, because that's where all of our updates and daily morning updates come from, weekly updates, macro updates, everything that you need to know in terms of trading or investing. We usually have that information in the community. So again, just roundabout, expecting the ETF approval later today. ETF approval should be good for everything. We will see immediate volatility. Following that volatility, I'm expecting ETH and ETH-based assets to outperform. Bitcoin should still do well. ETH should just do better. And I would assume that it's going to take probably 28 to 48 hours for the dust to settle. But as we got from our indication yesterday, ETH is still up, despite everything that happened. And I think that is definitely a good signal for ETH and ETH-based assets moving forward. So, good luck, happy trading. I think we're all very euphoric and excited for this day. Now, hopefully we get an approval, and then we can look forward to the next approval, which would be ETH ETF, and we can keep the narrative, keep the party going moving forward. So again, if you're not in the Trade the Chain community, www.tradethechain.com, 14 days free. That gets you access to our research, our trade calls, our community, our data dashboard, and everything else in between. And of course, you can cancel your 14-day free trial if you do not like it. So with that being said, good luck, happy trading. See everybody tomorrow.